How you doing, everyone? Welcome back to General Fantasy Analysis here for your Draftstars Saturday night games between the Cowboys and the Titans and the Tigers and the Rabbitohs. Very interesting ones here. It'll be really interesting to see what happens with the Tigers if they can really show that performance that they did last week here against the Rabbitohs, or are the Rabbitohs going to come out and dominate in this one? And I feel like this Cowboys-Titans one is going to be fairly high scoring and fairly close. So, yeah, very interesting to see what you decide to pick in this one, how you decide to go about it. In terms of Drinkwater, I think it's probably a little bit too expensive in this game to pick when you've got a lot of guys between around that 13k mark that have a fair bit of value. And if we're looking at some of the Bunnies players who could potentially come out and do really well against the Tigers, or just in a close game they could do well anyway, and that would be Campbell Graham at 15,620. He's been super consistent, coming off a lower game last week. I think he has that ability to bounce back and get somewhere in the high 40s again and potentially score a try and do really well for your side. If you want to go a bit cheaper for the Rabbitohs, and I'd suggest Alex Johnson, the team, if they can come out and do really well against the Tigers, then he could have one of those breakout 50-plus point games, and getting him at 13,400 would be really ideal. For the Cowboys, we have Val Holmes, who's had 2 really good games in a row and 3 out of 6 so far. So if you're looking at him at 13,000, with the ability to get a high 50s plus, then I think he should be someone that you should be selecting in your side. If you go a little bit lighter down the list, we have Blake Taaffe at 10,680, who I think could play a nice factor in this game, kicking goals. And if if he can get the odd try assist or try in this one to go along with his goal kicking, I think that he would be someone at 10,680 who you could plug into your side pretty comfortably. I suppose the other one to talk about here is Philip Sammy and his consistency so far, having a low of 34.4. So 10,860, if you want to go pretty light with him, or potentially use one of those 2 guys on the flex, then they could be a good option for your side. But that would be all I'd be looking to select out of all the outside backs in this game. If we go into the halves and hookers, Damien Cook's obviously an incredible option and got 85.9 last week and has a low in his last 4 games of 72.1. So he's someone that I think is really, really important, whether you're playing the individual game or whether you're playing this double game here for the Saturday games there. If we're looking a little bit lighter, then someone like Luke Brooks had a really good game and got 51 last week, so he could be an option for you at 17,000 if you think the Tigers could play well. If you're not too keen on them or not sure how they're going to go, then I think you could hold off on him, for example, and spend your money a little bit elsewhere. And someone I'd be looking to would be Hastings. Whether they play amazing or not, he should be able to comfortably get somewhere around that 40 mark, which you've seen in the last 2 games, the 48.9 and also the 42.5. So him at 10,600 could definitely be a solid one for your side. Chad's always pretty, consistent and comfortable in his scoring there. Just that couple of lower scores, and then everything's around that 40 mark plus. So if you think that the Cowboys could do well, then Townsend could be a decent option for your side. And we'll move to forwards now. Cam Murray's obviously been really dominant. Just be aware, guys, that he is starting to play a little bit less minutes. So that 84 is probably not going to be in his game anymore. He did managed to score 64.3 in 65 minutes last week. So, more chance that he's going to get that 55, I'd say. So if you want to spend that 24,000, I'd probably go for Cook rather than Murray, but completely up to you. Because you've got someone like Fafita at 21,770, who has been really, really dominant the last 2 weeks. So if you think he can do that again against the Cowboys, so he's going to be on that right side up against Harlem Lukey, who is someone I'm going to speak about a little bit later. But yeah, Fafita could dominate again against a younger player, especially if they go to his side again. So he's someone at 21,770 who I think could do well this week. In terms of Colin Matangi, I think he's probably a little bit too expensive personally for me. I'd be looking to go for Taumalolo, who in the last previous 3 weeks form is averaging 59.7. So he's been really great, and I'd suggest him as a really good option if you're looking for a pretty consistent over 50 score. Lucy Leilua is someone that's probably a little bit more inconsistent. Did score a try last week and did really well in that one. But, a 59.2, but it has that mid-40s kind of average, around that, you've seen over that previous 4 weeks. So he's someone there as well. Ruben Cotter, 16,600. You're noticing here there's a lot of guys in this mid to high tier as potential options. He didn't go as well last week, but the 3 weeks before showed that he has that pedigree to continue to do well. Both Morse got a try last week. He's going to be that up and down scorer as well. If we're going a little bit lighter, Tom Gilbert off the bench, playing big minutes through the middle, has 3 really good scores now, 48 and a 50 his last 2. So he could potentially be a good option for your squad. If we're looking a little bit lighter now, I'm going for the Kelma Tuolangi. I think he's really important at 11,500 to plug in there. and potentially do well for your squad. Getting that mid-30s to 40 score for someone who's priced at 11,590, I think could definitely do a job for your side. Cohen Hess unfortunately had a lighter game last week, so it's up to you whether you want to play him. He got less than minutes in that one, unfortunately, and Harlem Lukey there. So he had a really, really good game, playing 80 minutes last week, scoring a try, getting 63. So just be interesting to see how he comes up, how he stacks up against the feeder, how many missed tackles are going to be. Is he going to be able to be dominant and get a few tackle breaks or score a try? I think at 10,000 you could probably take that risk for a back rower that has a history of scoring well. In 80 minutes especially, so he hasn't had too many of those games, but you've seen, in the 55 to 60 minute games and in the trials this year, he had definitely has a lot of talent and potential to score somewhere in that mid-30s to 40 plus. So that's that on all those Saturday games, guys. I hope you have an amazing Anzac Day weekend, and good luck with these games, and we'll see you in the next few videos.